the signal appeared without warning. Deep in the cold black of space, the crew of the exploration vessel Aurora stared at the blinking screen. It was faint, barely above the noise, but it was unmistakable. Someone or something was trying to communicate. Captain Elise Carter leaned back in her chair, her fingers drumming lightly on the console. "Run the filters again," she said, trying to steady her voice. She had seen strange readings before, but nothing like this. The pattern was too regular, too precise to be natural. It was a signal, and it was coming from a system they had never explored. Lieutenant Rajiv Singh adjusted his headset. "Coordinates locked, Captain," he said. His eyes were wide with excitement. "It's human." Elise raised an eyebrow. "Human? Are you sure? This far out, beyond the frontier?" Rajiv nodded. "Positive. The pulse patterns match human communication frequencies. But there's something odd. It's distorted. Almost like it's hiding something." A cold silence filled the bridge. Even the hum of the engines seemed to pause, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. "Prepare a scout drone," Elise said finally. "I want a visual on that system before we go in ourselves. And patch me into communications." The drone was small, fast, built to slip through asteroid fields and gravity wells without detection. Elise watched the feed as it launched, its tiny lights blinking in the void. The signal grew stronger as it approached a small planet, rocky and gray, orbiting a dim orange sun. There was no atmosphere, no signs of life, nothing to suggest a civilization could survive here. And yet, the signal came from its surface. "Impossible," muttered Rajiv. "No base, no colonies. Nothing." Elise frowned. "That's why we're here. Keep scanning. Let's find out who, or what, is trying to reach us." The drone landed with a soft hiss on the jagged surface of the planet. Its cameras began to transmit images of barren rocks and deep craters. And then, in the middle of a crater, they saw it, a small structure, metallic, half buried under dust and debris. It was clearly artificial. Elise leaned forward. "That's our target." As they watched, a door slid open, slow and deliberate. A figure stepped out. Not alien. Human. Thin, wearing a suit that had seen better days, but unmistakably human. The figure raised its hand, not in greeting, but as if signaling for help. "Send the boarding team," Elise ordered. "We need answers now." The Aurora descended through the thin atmosphere, its engines kicking up dust that shimmered in the orange sunlight. Rajiv and the others could see the figure more clearly now, its face gaunt, eyes wide, expression fearful. The human moved awkwardly, clearly not accustomed to walking under gravity, as if their body had changed to survive something else. When the team finally reached the figure, they were cautious. Their weapons were ready, but Elise had already made a silent decision. "It's human," she whispered, mostly to herself. "And alive." The human looked at them, eyes darting from one crew member to another. Then came a sound they hadn't expected, a voice, weak but clear. "Please, help us." Elise signaled for the medical team to step forward. "You're safe now," she said. "We're here to help." The human collapsed before them, exhaustion or injury, or both, taking its toll. As they carried it inside, the rest of the system's mysteries waited silently. The signal hadn't just been a distress call. It had been a warning. Something, somewhere, had reached out across the void, and they weren't the only ones listening. Inside the Aurora, the crew tried to get information from the human. The translator struggled at first, picking up broken fragments of English. "Experiment, failed, they are coming," the human muttered, voice trembling. "We tried, escape, signal, safe." Elise frowned, heart pounding. "Who is coming? Who tried the experiment?" The human's eyes widened with fear. "Not safe, they." The voice trailed off into a cough. "Hurry, before they arrive." Every screen on the bridge lit up with new readings, ships appearing at the edge of the system, fast, moving deliberately. The crew of the Aurora realized the signal wasn't just a message. It was a lure. Something, or someone, wanted them here. Elise clenched her jaw. Prepare defenses. We might not just be rescuing someone. We might have just walked into a trap. As the planet's sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the barren surface, the crew of the Aurora braced themselves. They had tracked an unknown signal, and now they understood why it had been sent. Because whoever had sent it was human. And they were in trouble far beyond anything anyone on the ship had ever imagined. The unknown was no longer silent. And it was coming closer. The human lay on the medical bed, pale and trembling. Machines hummed softly, measuring heartbeat and oxygen. Elise watched, uneasy. There was something about this human, something desperate, something that didn't make sense. "Can you understand me?" she asked gently, leaning closer. The human nodded weakly. Yes, but hurry, they will come." Rajiv exchanged a glance with the doctor. Who will come?" The humans shook their head, coughing violently. "Not safe. They." Words came in broken fragments, but the fear in their eyes spoke louder than any sentence. Elise pressed a finger to her lips, signaling patience. "Start from the beginning. Tell us everything you can." The human took a shaky breath. "We were part of experiment, deep in system, tested on planet. Something went wrong, signal, sent, need help before they arrive." Elise frowned. "Experiment? Tested what?" The human's eyes widened, as if seeing something invisible in the corner of the room. "Not normal humans, changed, not alive, not dead, running, hiding, must leave." Rajiv's hand hovered over the console. "Changed? What do you mean, changed?" The human whispered. You will see, they, coming, too late, never leave." The crew felt a chill. Something was out there, something connected to the signal, something human, and dangerous. On the bridge, the screens began to flicker. Small blips appeared at the edge of the system, moving fast. They weren't scanners malfunctioning. Something, or someone, was approaching, using stealth technology they had never seen before. Elise turned sharply. "All crews, get ready. Shields up. Weapons online. I don't want anyone caught by surprise." The medical officer glanced at her. "Captain, the human, if they know what's coming, we need more information before it's too late." Elise nodded. "Then we talk to them. Keep them stable. We need answers." The human, sensing the urgency, forced themselves to sit up. "They, experiment, failed. We, escaped, sent signal. Only hope, too far, impossible, survive, alone." Rajiv ran diagnostics on the signal. "The message is strange. It's not just a call for help. It's encoded, like a warning. They didn't want anyone to trace it. But we did." Elisa's mind raced. So they wanted to be found, but not by anyone. The human's hand trembled as they reached for Rajiv's arm. "Must stop before they reach." Before anyone could ask more, the ship's alarms screamed. Blips on the screen multiplied. Fast, aggressive, precise. They weren't alone. The approaching ships were human in design, but unlike anything the crew had seen. Sleek, black, almost alive in their movement. Rajiv swallowed hard. "They're coming for the signal. For the human." Elise gritted her teeth. "Get evasive maneuvers ready. We're not going down without a fight." Outside, the dark ships closed in, casting long shadows over the barren planet. The human on the medical bed groaned. "They know. I sent signal." "Who are they?" Elise demanded. "Experiment, soldiers, not normal, hunted, escaped, must survive." The words were jumbled, but the meaning was clear. Whatever experiment had happened on that planet, it had created something dangerous. Something that wanted to eliminate the human, or anyone who interfered. The crew scrambled. The Aurora's engines roared as the ship pulled away from the planet. Lasers fired, scanning, analyzing the threat. But the incoming ships moved faster, predicting every maneuver. It was almost as if they knew the crew's every thought. Elise gritted her jaw. It's like they can anticipate us. Shields full. Weapons hot. Rajiv, figure out how they track us. Rajiv's fingers flew over the console. It's the signal. It's weak, but, yes. They're homing in on the exact frequency. If we cut it, maybe we can lose them. Elise hesitated. But the human needs it, to stay alive? The human nodded weakly. Signal, safe. Only chance. They kill. Elise made a decision. We'll fight. And we'll protect the human. But we need a plan to escape. Rajiv, can we jam the signal temporarily? Rajiv's fingers flew faster. Maybe, short burst, enough to confuse them. Elise turned to the crew. We're going into the unknown. Hold steady. Everyone, follow my orders. We survive this. Together. The Aurora dove into the shadows of an asteroid field, the human signal pulsing weakly, almost fading. The dark ships followed relentlessly, but the crew held their nerve. Laser fire lit up the void, echoing against the jagged rocks. The human watched, eyes wide, whispering, "Hurry! Must survive." Minutes stretched like hours. Every movement, every decision could mean life or death. And all the while, the signal continued, its secret still hidden, its warning still alive. Then, as they navigated deeper into the field, something unexpected happened. One of the ships slowed, paused, then turned away, vanishing into the darkness. The others followed. Elise exhaled slowly. For now, we're safe. But that was only the beginning. The human, trembling, whispered, "They will come back, stronger. Experiment never ends." Rajiv looked at Elise. "Captain, this isn't just rescue. It's survival. And whatever was done, it's far from over." Elise stared at the fading blips on the screen, mind racing. "We tracked the signal, and now we know the danger. But we haven't seen the worst yet." The ship's engines hummed as the Aurora moved deeper into space, carrying a human survivor, a deadly secret, and a warning that could change everything. Outside, the stars seemed calm. But they were waiting. Watching. Patient. The human survivor lay wrapped in a blanket, shivering even in the ship's warm cabin. Elise stared at them, trying to piece together the fragments of their story. Each word, each breath, was heavy with fear and warning. "They experimented on us," the human whispered. "Not soldiers, not normal, changed." Elise frowned. Changed how? The human's eyes darted to the window, as if seeing something invisible outside. Bodies, minds, stronger, faster, cannot die. Controlled, sent, kill. Rajiv swallowed. Controlled. Like mind control. "Yes, and worse," the human said. They wanted perfection, but failed, escaped. They hunt." Elise's jaw tightened. The crew had faced dangers before, but nothing like this. These weren't aliens. These were humans, twisted into something beyond humanity. "Tell us everything," Elise said firmly. "Where, how, why?" The human took a shaky breath. "Planet, abandoned research station, underground, deep. They wanted to create soldiers, humans, enhanced, stronger, faster, obedient, fail, runaway." Rajiv's fingers flew across the console, scanning old star maps. "There's a record of a research station here, decommissioned decades ago. No one's supposed to go there. But this signal, it came from there." "Yes," the human said. "We escaped. Only signal, hope." Elise exchanged a look with Rajiv. "If they failed, then what's out there? What's chasing us?" The human swallowed hard. "They, soldiers, changed, can think, can hunt, Not, like humans, no mercy, want, the signal, destroy, everything. A chill ran through the bridge as the crew processed the warning. These weren't just enemies. They were humans who had been altered, enhanced, weaponized, and now free. The Aurora's sensors beeped urgently. Blips appeared again at the edge of the system, faster this time, sharper. The enemy had tracked them again. Elise stood, eyes steely. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Shields full. Weapons ready. We protect the human at all costs. Rajiv hesitated. Captain, if they're enhanced humans, how do we fight them? Our weapons may not be enough. Elise shook her head. We don't have a choice. We survive, and we learn. That's all we can do. The human coughed, trembling. Station, deeper, underground, they left. Messages, warning, secrets. Elise frowned. Messages? Secrets? They left, diaries, recordings, plans, everything dangerous, must see, know, before they return. Rajiv turned to the captain. Captain, maybe the signal, it's not just a warning. Maybe it's a guide. If we follow it, we could learn more, maybe stop them. Elise nodded slowly. Then that's our next step. We go to the station. But we proceed carefully. One wrong move, and it could be the end of us. As the Aurora moved closer to the abandoned planet, the human story continued. They took volunteers, promising glory, power, survival, trained, tested, altered, few, survived, most, broken, useless, thrown away. Rajiv's eyes widened. They experimented on people. For what? Weapons. The human nodded weakly. Yes, soldiers, perfect, obey, follow, kill, nothing, human left, except escapees. Elise clenched her fists. And we have one of those escapees here. The signal saved them. Now it's our turn to save everyone else. The planet loomed below, gray and silent. The research station sat buried beneath layers of rock and dust. Sensors showed faint energy readings, machines still active, though the systems had been abandoned for decades. The human shivered. They left traps, cameras, drones, automated, defense, do not trust anything. Elise studied the readings. We won't. We proceed slow. Scan every inch. Stay alert. Nothing surprises us. Rajiv's hands hovered over the console. Sensors, detecting movement, outside station, or inside. Elise's eyes narrowed. Does it matter? We're going in. Stay sharp. The human looked at her with pleading eyes. Once, inside, recordings, diaries, everything, show, truth, warn, future. Elise nodded. We'll find it. But first, survive the trip there. As the Aurora landed on the barren planet, dust swirling around the landing legs, the crew prepared. Weapons loaded, shields up, lights bright against the dark planet surface. Every step into the research station could mean life or death. The human whispered, voice trembling. They failed experiment, but changed, not gone, watching, waiting. Elise glanced at the crew, determination in her eyes. We track the signal. We uncover the secrets. And we fight, whatever comes. The hatch opened. Cold wind swept into the cabin. The crew stepped out onto the rocky surface. Shadows stretched across the jagged ground. The human led the way, hesitant, alert. Beneath the dust, beneath the silence, the station waited. Machines that had once created horrors now lay dormant. But something was still awake. As they approached the entrance, a faint hum filled the air. The signal pulsed, stronger now, guiding them deeper underground. Elise whispered to herself, the experiment, the truth, it's all down there. And we're about to see it. The entrance to the station yawned before them like a dark mouth. Dust swirled as the crew stepped carefully onto the metal ramp, the human leading the way. Every creak echoed through the empty halls, every shadow seemed alive. Elise tightened her grip on her weapon. Stay close. Don't touch anything unless necessary. Sensors active. Eyes open. The human nodded, trembling. They left. Traps, cameras, security, automated, danger. Rajiv's eyes scanned the readings. Life signs? None. Energy readings? Minimal, but consistent. Something is still active. The corridor stretched into darkness, illuminated only by the ship's lights and the faint glow of emergency panels. Walls were scratched and dented, signs of struggle long ago. Dust covered consoles, but some screens flickered weakly, as if trying to wake. The human whispered, voice trembling, "Here, here, control, room, diaries, messages." Elise motioned for them to move faster. "Lead the way. We need information. We need answers." They reached a door sealed with a rusty panel. Rajiv examined the control pad. Old security codes. Might work. Try them manually. The human stepped forward, hands shaking. Fingers traced hidden buttons, finding a sequence almost by instinct. The panel clicked, and the door slid open with a groan. Inside, the control room was a frozen moment in time. Screens showed static, and machines hummed faintly. Papers littered the floor, diaries, logs, charts. Elise bent down to pick one up. The first page made her stomach twist. Names, dates, experiments, descriptions of volunteers, subjects, and modifications. Every word screamed of desperation and ambition. They had tried to make perfect humans. Soldiers without fear, without weakness, without conscience. Most had died. Some had changed, survived, but something inside them had broken. The human shook violently. See, proof. They failed. Rajiv scanned a terminal. "I'm getting files, video logs, recordings." Elise pressed play. A flickering image appeared, a lab, white walls, humans strapped to tables. Machines hummed, needles glowed. Subjects screamed. Faces twisted in pain as their bodies were enhanced. Strength, speed, senses heightened, minds sharpened, but at a terrible cost. Some lay still, bodies lifeless. Others opened their eyes, and smiled in a way no human should. The crew felt a chill. This was no longer theory. The threat was real. The enhanced humans were the result of this station's horrors. And some were still out there. The human whispered, "We escaped. Only few, not all. They hunt, signal, warn." Elise looked at the logs. "We now know what we're dealing with. These aren't aliens. They are humans, changed, and deadly." Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed. Sensors detected movement, fast, silent, coming from deeper in the station. Rajiv shouted, "They're here." Someone, something, moved. Elise grabbed her weapon. "Positions. Stay calm. Don't panic." The human backed away, eyes wide with terror. "They know presence. Traps, activated, defense." A shadow moved across the corridor, faster than any normal human. Then another. And another. The altered humans were awake. They had sensed the crew. The first figure emerged, tall, lithe, eyes glinting unnaturally in the dim light. It moved with grace, precision, a predator in human form. Elise fired, but the figure dodged effortlessly, disappearing into the shadows. Rajiv whispered, "They're too fast, too strong. Weapons may not stop them." The human groaned. "Run, hide, must survive." Elise clenched her teeth. "We don't run. We survive by strategy." Rajiv, find a route to the archives. That's where the logs and plans are. If we understand them, we can fight smarter. The crew moved cautiously through the twisting corridors, the hum of machinery blending with their own anxious breaths. Every step echoed against empty halls, every shadow could conceal death. They reached the archives, a room buried deep under the station. Dust-covered rows of cabinets, each holding papers, recordings, blueprints. Elise scanned quickly. This is it. Answers. Maybe a way to stop them. The human went pale. Do not touch, some dangerous, fail, security. Rajiv ignored the warning, opening a cabinet. Files scattered. Names, charts, experiments detailed every enhancement, every failure, every subject. They saw weapons implanted, reflexes altered, minds trained for obedience. But there were notes, weaknesses, patterns, ways to disable or avoid them. Elise whispered, this could save lives. Not just ours. Suddenly, a distant metallic echo sounded. Something was moving fast, coming from the ventilation shafts. Elise turned sharply. They're coming. Prepare yourselves. The human screamed. No. They, not, ready. They, hunt. The shadows moved faster, and then they saw them. 3 altered humans, sleek, deadly, their eyes glowing faintly. They weren't like humans anymore. They were hunters. Machines wrapped in flesh. Elise's mind raced. We use their weaknesses. Rajiv, set traps. Human, stay with me. Focus on the signal, maybe it can guide them, confuse them. The station trembled with the sound of their pursuit. Every second counted. Every decision could be their last. And the deeper secrets of the station waited, ready to reveal horrors beyond imagination. Elise knew one thing, they had survived the journey here, followed the signal, uncovered the truth. But surviving the station, surviving the altered humans, would require every ounce of courage, every bit of cunning, and maybe, just maybe, a little luck. Outside, the stars were calm. Inside, the station pulsed with danger. And the crew of the Aurora had no choice but to face it. The corridors of the station echoed with faint footsteps, but not the crew's. They were heavier, faster, more deliberate. Elise motioned for everyone to move quietly. The human led them through the dim halls, eyes wide with terror. They know. The human whispered. Always, hunting, silent, deadly. Rajiv glanced at the readings. Multiple life signs. They're moving fast. Too fast for normal humans. Elise whispered, we fight smart. We don't panic. Stay close. They reached a junction. 3 paths stretched into darkness. The human paused. Left, traps, center, patrol. Right, archives, maybe, safe. Elise made a quick decision. We go right. We need the archives. Knowledge is our weapon. As they advanced, lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling. Then a metallic click echoed. Rajiv froze. Tripwire, or sensor, something is watching. Before anyone could react, a shadow shot from above. One of the altered humans dropped from a ventilation shaft, landing silently, predatory. Its eyes glowed faintly red. Reflexes enhanced, muscles tight, it lunged. Elise fired. The shot hit, but the figure barely slowed. It moved with impossible speed, striking Rajiv aside. The crew fired again, but the creature vanished into the darkness, leaving a chilling silence. The human whimpered. They see everything, hear everything, smell fear. Elise clenched her jaw. Then we control what they see, what they hear. Don't panic. Stay calm. Use the knowledge from the logs. They moved cautiously, using walls, machinery, and shadows for cover. The corridors twisted endlessly. Every corner seemed alive. Every sound could be a predator. Suddenly, the hum of machinery changed. The lights dimmed. Screens flickered. Elise realized the station itself was alerting them, the automated systems reacting to their presence and the altered humans. They altered control station. Rajiv whispered. Everything is connected. Sensors, traps, weapons. Elise nodded. Then we use it. Trap them. Let them. Confuse them. Ahead, a narrow corridor led to a control room. Elise motioned for the crew to hide as she and the human approached. Inside, rows of terminals awaited. Elise began scanning for security controls. Doors, locks, traps. The human whispered. Can, trigger, delay, stop. Rajiv worked quickly, rerouting power, activating decoys, opening and closing doors remotely. Red lights flashed. Alarms rang. A faint echo of movement suggested the altered humans were close, responding to the changes. Elise turned to the human. We need information. Show us the logs that matter, where their weaknesses are. The human trembled but nodded. Follow here. They sifted through files. Notes revealed patterns. The altered humans were faster, stronger, but predictable. They could detect fear, smell blood, follow sound and motion. But they had weaknesses, vulnerabilities in sensors, gaps in patrols, limits to endurance. Elise memorized the details. This is how we survive. Not by fighting blindly, but by outsmarting them. Suddenly, the corridor shook. A heavy footstep. Then, another. The altered humans had found them. 3 of them appeared, moving like shadows, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. Elise whispered, "Remember the logs. Patience. Wait for the moment." The crew held their ground, ready. The creatures lunged, faster than expected. But Elise had planned it. The lights flickered, machinery doors slammed, creating barriers. The altered humans collided with them, confused. Red lights reflected off metal surfaces, disorienting their senses. Rajiv triggered a trap. Smoke hissed, filling the corridor. One of the altered humans coughed, slowed, but still pressed forward. Elise fired precisely, targeting joints, pressure points, anything that could slow them. The first one fell, stunned but alive. The others hesitated, recalculating. The human whispered, "Good, patience, careful." The crew used the chaos to move deeper into the station, toward the archives. Each step was calculated. Each corner checked. Every shadow observed. The altered humans were strong, fast, and dangerous, but not invincible. They reached the archive safely, hearts pounding, adrenaline surging. Elise motioned for them to catch their breath. This is only the beginning. We know their weaknesses. We know how to survive. But we can't stay here. Rajiv nodded, still trembling. They'll regroup. Come back, smarter. Elise stared at the glowing logs, the diaries, the recordings. We track the signal. We find the truth. And we stop them, if we can. The human looked at her, eyes filled with hope and fear. They, coming. Always, waiting, never stop. Elise nodded. Then we won't stop either. We fight, we survive, we protect, and we make sure their story ends here. Outside, the station hummed. The shadows shifted. The altered humans were relentless, patient, and hunting. But inside, the crew of the Aurora had discovered the first weapon against them: knowledge, strategy, and courage. As they prepared to move further into the heart of the station, Elise whispered, "We face the hunters, and we will survive. That is human, and that is why we fight." The station's silence was broken only by distant echoes. Every corner could hide a threat. Every shadow could move. The hunt had begun, and there was no turning back. The archives were quiet, but the crew knew it was only temporary. Outside, the altered humans were still hunting, relentless, calculating. Elise studied the logs, memorizing every weakness, every patrol pattern, every recorded experiment. Knowledge was their only weapon. They, coming. The human whispered. Always. Patient, wait. Elise nodded. Then we wait too. But we will strike when the moment is right. Rajiv glanced nervously at the corridor. They're faster, stronger, smarter. We need a plan. Elise took a deep breath. We have the logs, the signal, the traps we can trigger. We use everything. Lure them, confuse them, and survive. That's what humans do. That's what we do. The first altered human appeared at the entrance, moving like a shadow, eyes glowing faintly red. Elise and her team stayed hidden, hearts pounding. The creature scanned the room, sniffing, sensing, searching. Rajiv whispered, "Ready the doors. I can trigger a sequence to seal them in a corridor temporarily." Elise nodded. "On my signal." The creature stepped closer. Then two more emerged, silent, deadly. They were perfect hunters, enhanced humans designed to kill without hesitation. But Elise and her crew had one thing they did not: strategy. Elise triggered the traps. Doors slammed shut behind the creatures, isolating one from the others. Lights flickered, creating disorientation. Smoke hissed from vents, filling the corridors. The altered humans stumbled, confused, slowed. "Now!" Elise shouted. Rajiv and the crew struck, aiming for joints, pressure points, and sensors. The first creature fell, stunned. The others hesitated, calculating. But the crew moved with precision, using the station systems against the hunters. The human watched, trembling. "Good, careful, smart." Elise whispered, "We're not just surviving, we're fighting back. That's what makes us human." The battle was fierce. The altered humans were fast, but the crew was faster in thinking. One by one, the creatures were trapped, stunned, or isolated. The corridors echoed with the sound of machines, alarms, and distant shouts. Finally, only one remained, more cautious, observing from the shadows. Elise stepped forward, weapon ready, eyes locked on the predator. "It ends now," the human whispered. "Do. Careful, last." Using the knowledge from the logs, Elise lured the final hunter into a trap, a room with reinforced doors and electrified panels. The creature lunged, miscalculating. The doors slammed shut, locking it inside. A low hum filled the chamber as the trap activated. The last altered human was contained. Elise exhaled, relief mixing with adrenaline. "It's over, for now." The human collapsed to the floor, trembling, finally safe. "We survive, thanks." Rajiv checked the readings. All threats neutralized, for now. But this station, the experiment, it's dangerous. We must leave soon. Elise nodded. "We've done what we came to do. We've learned the truth. The experiment failed, but the knowledge must survive. Humanity must know." The crew gathered the logs, recordings, and evidence. They uploaded the signal to the Aurora, sending it across space. If anyone else encountered such horrors, they would be warned. Knowledge, courage, and survival, the human legacy, would continue. As the ship lifted off the planet, dust swirling around the landing legs, Elise looked back at the station. Silent, deadly, full of secrets. "They will come back," the human whispered. "Others, enhanced, still out there." Elise placed a hand on their shoulder. "Then we'll be ready. Humanity survives because we fight, we adapt, we endure. That is our strength. That is why we continue." Rajiv smiled faintly. "And the signal? It worked. It saved lives, including ours." Elise nodded. "Yes, the unknown sent us a warning, and we followed it. That is what makes humans, humans. Courage, intelligence, hope, even in the darkest places." Outside, the stars stretched infinitely. The station disappeared beneath the planet's surface, silent and waiting. But humanity had learned. Humanity had survived. And somewhere, across the void, the signal pulsed again. Not a call for help, but a reminder. A reminder that humans could endure, even against horrors of their own making. Elise sat in the captain's chair, looking at the stars. "We survived, we fought, we learned. And we will keep surviving. That is the human way." The human looked out the viewport, hope in their eyes for the first time in years. Signal. Safe. Future. Possible. The Aurora moved through the darkness of space, carrying survivors, knowledge, and the proof that even in the face of unimaginable danger, humanity could prevail. And somewhere, in the silent expanse, the altered humans waited, creatures of science and ambition, but humans had the greatest power, courage, intelligence, and the will to survive. The final signal pulsed through the void, a warning and a promise. Humanity would endure. And that was enough.